Hello beauties, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fatina and I'm the makeup enthusiast. In today's video, I am here to update you on my pan palette series. I'm here to let you know how I went with all my palettes in May. And I'm going to be doing some rollovers, roll-ins, roll-outs this month. So without further ado, let's jump on into it. Update you on my progress, show you my new pans, and let you know what's going in and what's going out and what's coming in. Yeah, let's get into it. Let me pull up my spreadsheet first so I can let you know all the details, all the numbers and whatnot. We might start with this palette right here. Might help if I show you the right way. We might start with this palette right here because I have like no progress to update you on this palette this month, because I've been using a different bronzer this month. I've been using a different powder to set under my eyes. The only pan in this palette that I was using this month was the highlighter. So I guess we'll weigh it and see if there's been any change, but I can almost guarantee that if there is change, it'll be very, 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 very minimal. I haven't been using this palette all that much for setting my under eyes. I tried, my concealer that I'm using at the moment is the Sharp tape. So I tried the first day that I rolled my Sharp tape into my project pan, my 2020 Teen Project pan. I tried setting that with these two the first day that I had it in that project, and my under eyes looked like the Sahara Desert, and I was like, not happening. They looked disgusting. They looked so cakey. The color, like, it was just all kinds of wrong. So I ceased using these two for that purpose. And then in terms of the bronzer, the palette that I'm currently using for setting my under eyes is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit, the 3-pan palette, the like original one they came out with. The powder in that is what I'm using to set my under eyes at the moment, and one of the other powders in that palette I really, really like as a bronzer. So I've been using both of them instead of using this. But I have been using this palette for the highlighter. That's been it. I probably, for the time being, I probably will only be using the highlighter in this palette because I'm just not feeling it with the other ones. This palette was at 193.8 grams last month. It is now at 193. Are you kidding me? I have never experienced this until now. I don't know whether it's my scales, they've just like, you know, lost their shit, or whether it's actually grown, but this has grown by 0.07 of a gram. This was 193.8 grams. It is now, it's growing as it's sitting on my scales. It is now at 193.88 grams. So it has grown by 0.08 of a gram. I don't know. That's really weird. I don't know. Maybe my scales have finally decided that they don't like doing their job. So this one has started to betray me in a very big way. I guess the feeling is mutual. I'm betraying it, so it's betraying me. It's growing. I'm not using it. Yep. Next is the Too Faced, what is this called? The Too Faced Love Flush Long Lasting 16-Hour Blush Wardrobe. Now, I finally decided to repress the color Baby Love, so it is no longer like just on one side of the pan. I started using this a little bit more this month because I was like, that's it, I'm powering through this one, I'm getting rid of it. But it was just starting to get a little bit annoying and difficult to get on my brush, so I repressed it into the center of the pan here. And I also was focusing on the color Your Love Is King as well. There's a little bit of difference in the pan, but in the photos you probably won't notice all that much of a change. The logo is pretty much non-existent now. You can still see the tiniest little like remnants of it in there, but you can definitely see that the level around the outside of the pan is starting to decrease. Like I've said every single month, this is a long haul, this palette. This is like, you know, we're in it for the long game. We're playing the long game here. So let's see how much this guy has dropped by. I will say this month I didn't use this one as much as I normally would because I've had my Fenty Cream blushes that I've been testing out. I've gotten another blush palette recently. I've been testing that out. So this one hasn't been getting as much love this month, but I still think I will see some drop in this, in the what's it called? In the weight. There'll definitely be some drop in the weight. So this one weighed 128.63 grams last month. And this month it weighs in 128.31 grams. So normally it's about half a gram, anywhere from like 40 to 50. Anywhere from 0.4 of a gram to half a gram is what I normally drop in a month. This time it was only about 0.3 of a gram, which is a little bit disappointing. But as I said, I've been using other things. That's why I haven't dropped as much as I normally would, but it's still good to see some progress nonetheless. And hopefully this one here, this one that I've repressed into the middle, hopefully I can see that one maybe even completely gone by the end of June. That would be really nice. Whether I see that or not is another thing. And also I think there was almost a whole week of May where I didn't wear makeup, so that also factored into it. A lot of reasons why I didn't touch that palette as much in May. Now the next two are my eyeshadow palettes, and I will say I'm going to be rolling both of these out this month because one of the palettes I have reached like 80% of my goal on, and the other palette I'm getting a little bit sick of. So these guys are rolling out and we're going to get 2 new replacements. But the first one here is the Dose of Colours Marvelous Mauve palette, and my goal when I rolled this one in was to hit pan on the 3 lightest shades and to lose the like imprint on the pan on the 2 darkest. But I did manage to hit pan on the 3 lightest shades in this palette. I didn't manage to get rid of the imprint on the pan. I definitely managed to hit pan on those 3. Super proud of how I've done with this palette. I think that I have hit pan pretty decently in these palettes. So yeah, I've had this one in since February, so I've really thoroughly enjoyed having this in the project. I've found a great love for this palette, like more than I thought I would. It's been a pleasure to use, and I really have been enjoying the Dose of Colours formula in this palette. So this one weighed in at 86.4 grams last month. Now it weighs in at 86.32 grams. So we've dropped by 0.08 of a gram, which is still pretty good. I didn't use that one a whole lot this month. Like once I hit pan on the lightest color in the palette, I kind of stopped using it because I reached my goal. And then the next one is my Lorac Pro 1 palette. And my goal for this month was to hit pan on at least another 1 shade. I would have liked to hit pan on more than 1 shade, but I only managed to get pan on the color mauve in here. And I kind of hit pan in a weird way. One thing I've discovered with this palette, by hitting pan on a few of like the darker colors, I use my brush weirdly. The way it looks like I use more the side of my brushes than like the tip of my brushes, and I am more of like a kind of like a bit of a scratcher. Like I use the side of my brush, but I'm a little bit of a scratcher, and you can definitely see that's the case by how I've hit pan in the color mauve there. But I've got 3 pans in this palette. Pretty impressed with that. I would have liked to have seen more, but that's okay. That's okay. I've still hit pan, and I'm happy with how I've done with this palette. So this one was 127.12 grams last month, and this month it is 127.16 grams this month. So this one has also grown. I don't know how it has managed to grow because I've hit pan on a shade, so God knows, God knows. So my 2 eyeshadow palettes are rolling out, and I'm rolling in 2 new eyeshadow palettes. The first one I'm going to roll in is my Too Faced chocolate bar palette. This is the original chocolate bar palette. The packaging on this is getting a little bit annoying for me because, can you hear that? I've like managed to bend the lid on this, and now it doesn't really sit flat, and it's really quite annoying. I have tried to like bend it back into shape a little bit, but it doesn't seem to really do much. So anyway, I have a few, like I have a little bit of wear on this one, but nothing really like aggressive. I've obviously was being very delicate when I was using this every time, but I would like to hit pan on a couple of shades in this palette. Once again, I'm probably only going to be aiming at the matte colors in here because I'm still trying to work on a lot of like my glitters and shimmers in my Partners in Cream, so we'll probably only see pan on the mattes. But if I could hit pan, like especially on this big one here, that would be glorious. And then a few of the transition shades, like this lighter brownie one here, I think I could easily get pan on, and then maybe one of these two as well, I think I could get pan on. So we'll see how we go with this one. I've never really tried to hit pan, or I have never hit pan on a Too Faced shadow, so I'm not quite sure how I will go with this one. I think the way I'm going, I probably will hit pan eventually on this palette. It might just be maybe 3 to 4 months before I see pan on any of the shades, but we'll see how we go over the month of June, see if we have any like considerable dips or anything like that in the pan, and then I guess that'll be a good gauge for us going forward. So starting weight on this one is 210.07 grams. And then the next one that I'm rolling in is my Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. Once again, this definitely has a bit of wear on it, but nothing like I would like to see. So I thought that I would roll this one in, and I think it will be like a good supporting palette for the chocolate bar palette, because this one is very like really quite nude, and you guys know how much I love like my mauvey tones, my magenta raspberry tone colors. So I think that this one will definitely be a good accompaniment palette for the chocolate bar. So we'll see how we go with this one, and hopefully I can hit pan on a couple of these once again. That's always the goal. And I've heard that the ABH formula is not the hardest to pan, so we'll see how we go once again with this one in June, and that'll be a good gauge going forward over the next couple of months. So this one weighs in at 185.44 grams currently, but I'm hoping that I can hit pan on a couple of shades in both of these once again. I am really enjoying seeing all the pan. I'm really enjoying seeing all the pan that I've been hitting this year so far on my palettes. I feel like I'm doing a stellar job so far because I've got, how many palettes with 1, 2, 3? I've got 3 palettes, or 4 palettes so far with pan on them, so I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty impressed. If I can get like at least 1 or 2 shades in every one of my palettes, with pan on them. How cool would that be? That'd be really cool. So yeah, that's the 2 palettes that are coming into this project now this month. Let me know down in the comments box how you are tracking with your products that you're trying to pan. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoy watching my pan that palette update every month, I hope you would consider giving this video a big thumbs up. And if you do want to keep up to date on this project and all my other project panning endeavors in 2020, I hope you would consider subscribing just down below. That's it for this video, my beauties. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I hope you're staying safe and healthy and looking after yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.